Welcome to Winspiration Radio, Growth Principles for Humanity and Progress. Join us when we share information, wisdom, and ideas how to create an extraordinary future for us all. The future is open. We together decide what will be in it. Welcome to another episode of Winspiration Radio, Growth Principles for Humanity and Progress. Today, I'm happy to have once again Charl de Villiers here in the show. We had interesting talks already about the frequency he is doing. But I would like to start, before we go in his special work he is doing today, how he sees what is happening at the moment in the world. Because a lot of people say, energy is changing, from the sun are coming different radiations and everything, what is happening. On the other side, we have more war and separation discussions and how it's affecting your work or how it's impacting your clients. You have a health clinic. It's a Soundwave Health Clinic in Gordons Bay.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
Your background, as we talked more in detail in another session already, is not the real doctor profession. You developed a lot of knowledge over the last decades.
That's right. That's right.
Call yourself a kind of bioresonance therapist.
100% correct. 100%
so,
yes.
That's bioresonance. We can talk is also just the body, but bio life is, I want to ask you on the scale.
Yes.
How do you see what is happening in the world? What changes are there? Are there huge changes in frequencies? So what is your take on that?
Okay, first of all, thank you very much for having me again on your talk show. I'm very honored, and thank you very much. Yes. Wolfgang, yes, the last couple of months, I've seen a tremendous shift in a lot of things, and I've been looking at a lot of things that's shifting. And when I talk about shift, it is actually in the body itself.
Wow.
Yes, like for instance, from the war that started in Israel and the war that started in the Ukraine, there's a huge influence on younger people. And there's an influence in the body. I can see changes, certain fears, certain worries that plays a role. And you can see it manifests in the body, in the arteries, in the gut, and in the brain. And it affects people really differently. So yes, worldwide, I would say I've seen it in people from Europe. I've seen it in people in southern hemisphere, in South Africa per se. There's definite changes. People are worried. What about the future? What is the future is holding? But not only that, there are huge changes in the hemisphere as well. The stars and stuff, we receive a lot from the sun coming through to us here on Earth, affecting us negatively. And then we hear about these big things of climate change.
Yeah.
And all those things, I personally think it's very natural. It should be like that. It's been like that many years ago, but there's an influence on the body, and you can see the influence on the body. So yes, I agree.
So that is very interesting. Like you said, somehow for me now it's a question: what was first, the chicken or the egg?
Yes.
So you say there is changes, like something is coming from the sun, changing energy frequency on planet Earth. And very interesting, did you say the Ukraine or Israel war? I could understand when you say, that is really stressing people in Europe. Like the Germans say, oh gosh, will we get a third world war? But in South Africa as well, so far away. So is it the war itself Is it what media makes of it, the people, what they are talking, or is
Wolfgang,
it the hemisphere change?
you know, Wolfgang, when I was a young man, and something will happen in Europe, then we will hear about those things 2 or 3 days after it happened, because the news traveled very slowly and it was in the newspaper or over the radio. Now, as it happens,
Yeah,
we are involved in that.
yeah,
And there's emotions going, like for instance something else, like for instance in South Africa, we see things that people is saying, out with the Jews, in with this, or we
yeah,
see people saying pro this one and pro that one
yeah.
here
But
in South
let me ask
Africa.
you here, saying to very clearly, to get it really clear, frequencies don't need the time, the 2 3 days. The
Exactly.
the
Yes.
news in former times, you said that
Yeah.
maybe took a few days, but
Yes.
is really the change in the younger people that you said, what happens in the people now, depending on the frequency, even if they don't know what happened that night, maybe they were sleeping,
Yeah.
or is it
Yeah.
just because of the news?
I would say it's both.
Mhm.
Like for instance, people are sometimes so connected with one another that they do
Yeah,
not even know that.
yeah,
Um, and that is why when things happen in Europe, lots of South Africans are there. Lots of South Africans are in that areas, and they are really connected
yeah,
with frequencies.
yeah.
I always make an example. I say, you will sit in a restaurant and somebody on the other side of the restaurant, suddenly you will just make an eye contact.
Mm-hmm.
Or somebody will walk by and just turn around and look at you. Why? Uh, there's been a connection.
Yeah,
And everything in our bodies, everything, there's a frequency. If you are sad, or you feel threatened, or you feel that there's emotion that you cannot, where it comes from, it sort of gets out of you, in the world around you, in your aura around you. It's there, it shows. And nowadays what I do is I read the aura in my machine and I make a print out of that, and then I can see that things are, what's happening in the world, that's happening in that person's space, is actually affecting that to a tremendous amount, and it goes back into the body and affects it negatively. Now, I just want to say is that in my rooms nowadays, lots of people will say, I'm worried about my grandchildren. What is going to happen to them in this new world? It's a
yeah,
world
yeah,
of war, and things
yeah.
like that. So mothers are worried about my child. What is going to happen within 5 years, 10 years from now on?
Mm-hmm.
So yes, there's a huge influence on the
We
body,
just she just gets the
and
frequency, yes, because
and that
we know we
that
talk about,
frequency,
yeah, we talk, we
and
are all one, so it's just
oh yes,
yeah,
oh
so
yes,
and
yes,
like at the what is it, physics, you say entanglement or whatever, what happens there and
yes,
the others,
yes,
and
yes.
that's how you work
It
with the
happens. Yes,
fingernail. Mm-hmm.
and yes, just to put you in the picture a bit more, I suspect that within 3 to 5 years from now on, is that the world's going to experience quite a number of liver cancers. And then people ask me why. I say because during the COVID period, thousands of people lost their jobs, and we did not know what the future is holding for us. Now, if you're a man, you are worried about, where am I going to get money to support my family? And as soon as that worry kicks in, it affects the liver. It
Mm-hmm.
is part, the liver is connected to what is going to happen in the future. How am I going to provide food? So that emotion that's been caused by a virus
Okay.
can influence. Now, the same with the war that's happening in Israel or in Ukraine or whatever the case may be, or wherever it be. You know, we are all worried. Is anybody going to press the little red button and say nuclear? We don't know, but we're worried about that.
Yeah.
So that whole thing is portraying in our bodies, and we can see it. We can see the changes in the body.
Yeah. So there is the frequency coming from whoever, people more afraid in UK, Ukraine, or in Gaza, Israel. They all are worried, both sides. Because we're all one, we are affected.
Oh, yes.
Like you said, Corona, the government, I can say it from Europe, they work with a lot of fear to control the people more.
Yes.
And so creating fear.
And as you know,
artificial intelligence comes on top. So yeah, so a lot of people are afraid.
But you see, once again,
the future is going.
I'm glad this AI that's coming, the artificial intelligence that's coming, once again, now we hear lots of people can lose their jobs because of artificial intelligence. Now, suddenly you are worried about that. So the negative frequency that flows out of certain things is affecting the population. Now, sometimes the more not knowledgeable you are, the better you are off.
Yes, that's what some people say. But you can also maybe say it's a lack of knowledge. Because like you just mentioned, the relationship between your thoughts and the liver. If we don't understand this, if we have a lack of understanding of that.
Yes.
Because if we would understand it more, that we create it, I can stop creating it.
Exactly.
Like when we just say, I'm apologize directly for myself, for others, saying losing jobs. Because a losing job sounds really negative.
Yes.
We are losers now. But if we see, wow, there comes a technology which helps us to create a better life that can take jobs we don't like. Yeah. So that we can develop to something better. And if we would understand that our thoughts, like you said, someone thinks there, gets a fear. What if we create trust in the future? We could affect also. But that is not yet, we say, common knowledge.
No, it's not. And the big thing is nowadays in my practice, I more and more I move across to the emotional side of things, to the fear of things, for the emotional things that kicks in. I'm a very firm believer that nothing can just start in a body. Nothing can just go wrong in the body. Now, like for instance, positive influences. I've just looked at a video that was yesterday on water. The influence of frequencies outside, how it affects water and the quality of water, and that water can change because of emotions, because of if you bless water, it changes its structure. Now, the body consists of 75% of water. That is why when we've got a full moon, we look at the oceans. In the ocean, there's high water and low water because it's influences by the moon. Now, the same moon influences the water in the brain. There's high water and low water, and some people cannot handle it. Some people handle it very well. Now, the whole body is 75% water. So if a simple thing like a blessing can change the water structure in a glass, what about the body? Even more so, because the body and water's got the facility, it can keep a frequency for quite a long time. So when water goes bad, the frequency change in the water and the structure of the water changes. Now, the same thing happens in the body, is that if negative things happen, whether it's a war, whether it is the universe, whether it is people around you, it affects the water in the body, and that affects each and every system that's in the body.
Yeah. Good to say that the water and the frequency, because with our emoto, and some people say, oh,
yes,
water can read, and they put what is it, kind of signs or write a little letter, love,
yes,
whatever, under the water.
yes,
But there's
reacts
so
to
many
it.
languages on planet Earth.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like I said, I'm not the believer in it reads, but
yeah,
every culture, when it writes
yes,
love, Liebe, or whatever,
yes.
it's the same frequency.
Yeah, yeah.
That is what
Listen,
the water is getting.
because when you write the word love in Afrikaans or in English or in German or in Swiss,
yes,
your body is in connection with that word that you're writing. Okay,
that's in
so
the same frequency.
it's the same frequency. When
Yeah,
you say the word love,
yeah,
and you say a bad word, the frequency is changing
yes,
completely.
yes,
So that is why somebody can, like for instance, you can say to a dog, and this is now very interesting. You can say to a dog, uh, I hate you, and he will react. He will react positive to that because the frequency. I
frequency
didn't say I hate you. I
yeah,
said, I hate you.
yeah,
Now, Now, the written word is very much the same. It is what you think when you write the word that goes with it. If you
yes,
write the word love, but you really mean hate,
yes,
it will not have the same effect on that person.
yeah. That is very important, really, to go in the frequency what you think about people, because I did a kind of tests also in seminars, send the person out, and then talking with the group. When this person comes in, we put it in the middle of the circle, and then we think this person is weak, and then we make these arm tests.
Yes. And it
Nobody
worked.
needs to say anything. The
Yes,
person tests weak.
exactly.
Yes, and then we do the opposite. Strong,
Yeah.
loving, caring thoughts.
And then
Wow, and
yes.
so strong.
Yeah,
And like you said, the people around you, what are they thinking about you, and how do you think about yourself? Like you said, when I think
yeah.
fear about the future, my thoughts affect the liver. They
Yes.
affect the material stuff.
Yes. And it goes with it. But if you think about the future and your future is positive, then it will not affect your liver. Not at
Yes.
all. It is when it's negative. And you see, the big thing about frequencies is that frequency comes in colors as well.
Yeah.
Uh, they've done a lot of tests in the last couple of years on to use certain colors, but color is a frequency, like for instance
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
on the brain and the influences that. And I've been doing that in my place as well for quite a number of years, and it's amazing that certain colors can change certain emotions in persons.
Yeah.
So once again, that is why it's important sometimes to go outside and be in the sun to get that frequency and to walk. Like for instance, I know that you walk barefoot on the sea sand. It's
Yes.
terribly important for that frequency to come into the body. Now,
So what is the change there when you say also you realize, or a lot of people talking about, from the sun is coming different energy, different frequency.
yes,
What is the difference between I walked 10 years ago on the beach and I walk today?
yes. The difference is that, as I've just mentioned a while ago, is that we are pumped with a lot of information that we did not receive in the past. In the past, we received it, but it was softer. Now, when we receive information on the internet, we get the facts immediately, and we do not know whether it's correct or whether it's wrong, or whether it's a lot of negative stuff coming through, and even positive things coming through in negative ways. So I really think that the world at the moment is so rushed. So our cars are faster, our aeroplanes are faster. We move faster from one country to another country. Everything is just moving. We as human beings cannot always accommodate. And then your body's got to make a decision whether he wants that or whether he doesn't want that. Now, the frequency, there are different ways that we absorb frequencies. We absorb frequencies through our eyes, through our ears, through our skin. Sometimes what we eat, there's frequencies going into the body all the time.
Yes.
So because
it's
each
true.
and everything,
thousands of
it's
TV
there.
channels, electro, whatever.
And you know, we do get people, we call them anesthesia. It's not an illness. It's people that can see frequencies.
Yes.
When they open their eyes, they can see it. And you know, like for instance, we are talking to one another over the air. There's nothing in between us, but we're talking. So there's frequencies, but it's not the only frequencies. There's millions of other frequencies traveling. Some of them travel through our bodies. Some of them are coming into the body and stays there. Some stay there for a certain time period and then it leaves the body again.
The frequency stays there, so this is kind of it travels as frequency and then stops.
It can stop, say for instance.
Or is it in the organ stays in the frequency?
It goes, it affects the organ.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes what happens is this, like for instance, let us take a negative thought.
Mm-hmm.
While you're traveling, you've got this negative thought, it goes into the brain.
Mm-hmm.
You allow it to go into the brain.
Yes.
Then it's stuck there.
Yes, and
it's
you watch it and keep it alive.
It's there, so it is in a certain place in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever, if it's stuck in the brain, where that area of the brain is controlling the stomach,
yeah, mm-hmm.
it will influence the stomach negatively.
Mm-hmm.
And then till that emotion or that negative thought that you brought into your system, you have to get rid of it. Then the stomach area will change as well. There's a direct connection between those things. So negative thoughts it's a negative frequency that you take in, affecting the body negatively. That is why it's so important when you receive a negative thought, you've got to stop it and say, "Whoa, get out of!
Yeah,
I don't want that." You are capable of controlling negative and positive thoughts. So
but
it's not
to make it totally clear. There is whatever negative thought. It doesn't need to be a negative thought about the stomach. It is not really a thought about the liver. It's just a special negative thought who's stuck some special area in the brain, and from there influences the organ.
Yes, I'll give you another example.
Yes.
Like for instance, if you're afraid of death.
Yes.
It affects, it goes, that negative thought will go into the brain and stuck in the area of the lungs.
Mm-hmm.
Because the lungs, when you cannot breathe, you cannot live.
Yes.
You die.
Yes.
So that is the organ that is connected to that specific negative thought.
Mm.
That is why thoughts are crazy things. And
it was very interesting, just asking with the lungs. I'm not really a specialist, but I heard the Chinese say, or Chinese medicine, in the first 7 years or whatever, there's mostly this organ, and then it's kind of elderly. I don't know exactly when the 70s or whatever.
Yeah.
Then there comes a lung topic. because you're closer to death and maybe more
exactly.
people are afraid of
Yes, of
okay.
death, because you are closer to death. Now,
Yes.
sometimes, like for instance, you sit in front of the doctor, and the doctor will say to you, "You've got cancer."
Yeah.
What a negative thing to say, because what happens now in the brain is that the first thing that comes in your brain, how long do I have to live? The
Yes.
word live,
Yeah.
okay? And lots of times, after you've been diagnosed, then they say it metastasized and it goes to the lungs
Interesting.
because there's a death threat.
And
So that
see, there is a difference because of the, say, speed of life now. When, let's say, 50 years ago, I want to think go in war times or whatever, just okay, life was slower. You get a thought. Was it because there were less thoughts, less information, less speed?
yes,
Was
I
it
agree with that.
easier to change it? Or because
Yeah,
everything
I
goes
think
so
so.
fast that I'm even more stuck in fear in general, that I'm not
Yes,
changing the thought?
yes. The thing is, things happens too fast to us nowadays.
Yeah,
As I said, you can pick up your telephone today and you receive news from all over the world.
yeah,
Or if somebody in your family, there's a problem there, you receive it immediately, and you receive the pictures, and you receive this, you receive that. And it's so strange. It's not always the happy things that travel fast. It is the unhappy things. It's the
yes,
it's
yes, yeah,
the it's the war. It is the accident. It is all
yes,
those kind of
yes.
things. But our bodies are created wonderfully. In that way, the two of us can travel in a car. We will both in the back seat of the car, and there's a car accident. And
Mhm.
within a week, because of the shock, you will land in the hospital, and I will not land in the hospital. We've
Yes,
got the same thing happen to us,
yes.
exactly the same, but you as a human being just couldn't work it through where I could work it through, or vice versa. So sometimes that is why positive people is sometimes more not into bad stuff, uh, because they are positive. And that is why I think in seminars and things, they always push the positive, the positive. It
But you need
that
to get it here, not just okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It's got
yeah,
to go
the
throughout the
stomach.
body, right through.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's got to go through. Now,
But
this
that's
is
also, if I just say the word positive a little bit different, like Viktor Frankl, in search of meaning, and then he was in
yeah,
a concentration camp,
yeah,
and he figured out those people who survived, they had a reason to survive.
yes,
So it's not just simply, I guess, to be positive and a
no,
strange
no,
optimist or whatever. It is about,
yes,
I trust that I can handle things, and I want to handle something in the future, whatever it is. I want to see my grandchild again, or I want to
yes,
accomplish this task.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once again, the body is so, each and every one is so 100% the same, 100% different,
Yeah.
because we react different to different things.
Yes.
And sometimes when, like for instance, let us take a concentration camp. Why is the one making it and the other one not? Sometimes the one that was not thinking a lot
Yeah.
made it, and the other one that was thinking a lot did not make it. We don't know, because we are so unique, and each person is different. You can cope with something, I cannot cope with it.
Yes.
So somebody will get extremely ill because of a divorce, and the other one will flourish because of the divorce. It is so strange.
Yes.
That is why we cannot always determine what the outcome is going to be. But what the outcome, what we see is that if we can determine what negative thought influence the body, we can get rid of that emotion or that negative thought, the body will heal 10 times faster.
So if we have the understanding, everybody is different and the same somehow, because whatever the material is the same and everything, but every individual has a different story, what happened in the womb, what at the birth and everything, and creates different thoughts. So it's not exactly the same. But if I understand you right, with the work you're doing, the frequencies, you can discover different emotions. And first of all, there are general ideas how we all can take better care of us, even if we have not a chance to come to you directly. And what is this, what you then specific do with people to change, you say, their emotions? First of all, how do you discover it? And then how you change it?
Yeah, okay. Now, first of all, the discovery is that I do a full body scan of the person. When we do a full body scan, then we do a full scan on the emotions that hasn't been resolved from before birth up till your age that you are now.
So they're somehow,
in other words,
and that's why you
are stuck.
Mm-hmm.
You are stuck. So there's a negative frequency coming out, and it tells me, like for instance, when there's a negative frequency for fear, for snakes, for a divorce that happened 10 years ago. Okay, you've gone through. Let us just take an example. You go through that. The divorce is handled. It is finished. It's clear. It's there.
The legal stuff is done. Yeah.
Everything is done.
Yeah.
But inside you, you've just taken it and you've filed it away in your brain. Okay, I'm over that now. I filed it. But you know, when there's a divorce, a lot of things happened to cause that divorce.
Yeah.
Okay.
What happened before? Yeah.
Before, because you know, you're not one day you're married and the next day you're not married. Things happen, and stress comes in, and fights, and whatever the case may be, or there was an affair, or but something else caused it to break up. Okay. Now, sometimes these things start, say, with birth. When a child was born, say, for instance, 20, 30 years ago, the mother did not want this child. It was an unwanted child. So the child was, there's rejection of that child already at birth. Okay. But now life goes on and the child grows up and the child gets married. And now suddenly the husband or the wife is doing something and this person feels rejected.
Yeah.
Now we must ask, but where does this rejection feeling is coming from? So we have to take that person then back to birth, where she was rejected by the mother. Okay, now as soon as we know that is where it happened, and now you just spoke about the muscle test that you do. That is one way to find out where does this originate from. Now, as soon as we get to that point, is now we can do different things. We can remove it. Now, some people do it through prayer. Some people do it through the body test. They can remove it. There's a certain way. In India, they do it another way. They've got their ways, but 99.9% it is forgiveness.
Yeah, that's would have been my question now. I said after divorce is a lack of forgiveness.
But now sometimes, Wolfgang, and that is where people have to take a lot of care. For instance, in a divorce case again, let us say the lady, she felt she was rejected, and then she felt she was rejected again and again and again. Now there's a divorce. Now she's got to forgive. She's got to forgive that person, but she has to forgive herself
Yeah.
for allowing it to happen.
Yes.
We allow certain things in our lives to happen because we think that we love that other person. Okay, so there are two things. And the one is forgiving yourself and to forgive that other person. But I just want to make it very, very clear that everything that happens in the body do have a starting point in your life somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to get hold of exactly where it started because we think it started when we were 25 and we had problems with our husband and then we fought and then there was a divorce. No, it started before that. Something else happened in the past. So that is why the frequency to look for these things are available with us. We can see it when we test a person, it will take out and say, this one, that one, that one, that one. You have to pay attention to that. And for lots of the
That's very
patients that
good. You
comes,
have to pay attention for what exactly? For the frequency.
or for the, no, for where did this start?
You
Because
need to know where it started.
it
So
started because that's,
when I say I have a garden and someone throws dirt in it,
yes,
I was on vacation, so I don't know
yeah,
when they would have thrown it in.
yeah,
Do I really need to know when someone's thrown it in, who's thrown it in,
yeah,
or just
yeah.
can I say, I just want to remove it?
It all depends on how you react to that.
Okay.
If you come back and there's a lot of rubbish in your garden and you say, this is sorry, okay, I'll get a truck and I'll remove it.
Okay.
No emotions, no emotion. But if you
Okay.
stand there and you fume and you are angry with it,
Okay. Then you need to ask why
so
I'm angry. Where comes the
why am
pattern?
I angry? Why
Okay.
am I angry? Okay,
Then it is not
because
about the garbage,
no.
about the pattern, where the
It's
pattern
your
comes from.
reaction. It is
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
it is like rage on roads.
Yes.
Suddenly, this chap will just stop in the road, get out, get his club, and just hit the other chap, killed
Yeah.
him perhaps.
Yeah.
Why? Because something happened to this person many years ago, and this is the end of it.
Yes.
Now it's exploding. Wow. It is the same with depression. Why do people become depressed? They say something kicks out in the brain, and then there's the cortisol that's going up and this thing going down, and then the emotions kick. And when you really look at it, it started one day. You were not born like that. It started somewhere. Now, what was the starting point? It's with everything. I found more and more and more. And Wolfgang, people will react to that so beautiful. They will come to me afterwards. I've seen a young lady the other day. She was in my rooms crying, crying, weeks. And then we found out the spot, what happened to her long ago. And
Yes.
she's gone there and the next day she walked into that office, it was a complete new person.
Wow.
Complete.
Yes.
It was within hours. So it is so important to pinpoint where does the frequency, where did that start? Because that starting point is a frequency that is in the brain that's influencing the body at a lot of different levels. Now, when you look at the aura or the field of the body, sometimes when you look at it, you can see it very clearly on our system. It is throwing out all energy in all directions. Or when you look at it from the back, only the one half of the body is perfect. The other part is bent in and it's lousy. Then you look at which part is it? Is it the left or the right hand side? If it's the left hand side, it's always to do with children or mother or friends or family. When it's on the right hand side, it's always the spouse. the husband or the wife. And it all depends on whether you're left or right-handed, because that plays a role as well. But as I'm trying to say is that there's 99.9%, there's always a cause for why things happen.
Yes.
Always.
Always.
And you know, it is, let us take again the big cancer. People get cancer, they go for chemotherapy, they go for this, and then they're in remission.
Yes.
1 year, 2 years, zip, it's back. Why? Because the emotion hasn't been pinpointed.
I understand that very well. I was teaching how to handle money, and in my book, Spirit, as I said, the people, you can give them the best investment, they stay in minus. Because it's not about the investment, it's about what happened to them, what the program is.
Exactly. And they cannot get out of that problem of negatively or with the money in the negative, not before they found the problem where it started.
Yes.
Because they've been trained wrong, or whatever the case may be, but there's something wrong in the past.
And then looking for a solution on the outside, and that will never
work.
Yes.
The solution is inside, always.
Super.
So we have to do it,
We're just talking about the individual, and whatever problem you have, you need to look, where's the cause, when happened what. If I now look at, again, Ukraine or whatever war, if it's Israel, or there's a lot of places on planet Earth to look at. And now when we see in the news what they are discussing, nobody is discussing, oh, this political guy or the Hamas leader or whatever has a childhood trauma. Or how can we solve his childhood trauma that we can make peace? So what do you see with your understanding and know-how about frequency? Would we, on individuals like in South Africa or somewhere, can send for energy that we can support, let's say, more a kind of process more towards peace?
Yes. That's an extremely difficult question. Now, I'm going to look at that question from a negative side. They've been busy with experimentation for quite a number of years in America and all over the world.
Yes, I know. In London, there's intention.
Yes, and influencing people to make certain decisions through frequencies.
Oh, yeah.
That they bombard them with certain frequencies.
That violate the law of not to interfere the individual person.
Yes. So there's a lot of things going on. Now, what I say when there's war, or let us just take the Israel one and put it out of the equation. Let us look at Ukraine or somewhere in Africa where there's a war. War is always something that a person has started. Yes. It's an individual.
Yes.
When we look at it's human, and it wasn't Hitler, it wasn't Napoleon, it was a person that had this aura around him of a leader, and he took the people somewhere. But because his energy, his frequencies has influenced a lot of people and it was always in a positive way, ended negative.
And then the opposite as well, like Mandela is one person.
Yes. Influence a lot of things. It is the stature of that person. It is his individual aura that's influencing either positive or negative things around us. Now, if we take the Ukraine war, for instance, why did they do that? The big thing is, was one person that started this whole thing. So if they remove some of the leaders, then everything will just sort of fade away, because the communication from the top to the bottom, from the brain to the rest of the body, is not there anymore.
No, we can
So
give.
it's communication.
We say always, so there was one dictator. So if you take
Yes.
the dictator away, then the war really starts, because then other people want to be the next
leader.
so it
Yeah.
can
But
also be very stressful then.
this is really not my field.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying in a speculative way is that I really think that say for instance you're in a meeting.
Yeah,
Sometimes when you sit in a meeting, you've got your chairman, and if
yeah,
that chairman is not strong,
yeah,
the meeting will just go haywire.
yes,
Absolutely.
yeah,
And that's why I say with these kind of things, frequencies plays a role of how strong or how weak a person is,
yes. But
or a
we had
group
at the
of
beginning
people.
also, we talked about with the water, it can read the word love. So love
Yes,
is a different frequency than hate and war. So
yes,
it's just that that more and more people need to learn, especially in the times of now I'm getting afraid, coming back to the
yes,
frequency of love.
yeah,
Because if we
yeah,
all influence what's happening on planet Earth, if we all go in fear, then we
yeah,
create more of the shit.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
how can we go more in the frequency of love? At least for sure, getting
yeah,
rid
yeah,
of the problems we have. And
yeah.
there you are
Okay.
helping, like you said,
Yeah.
people not only focus on the body, maybe it says a bioresonance therapist, but more and more focusing on the emotions.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Emotion is, when I started off and when I did my studies, it was all the medical stuff,
Yes,
if
yes.
this is this,
From the
when
outside
it's
to the
A,
inside. Yeah.
then it's inside. And then suddenly one day I just realized, but this is not working.
Yeah.
You work with people and you sort of cure the people, but they come back. Now,
Yeah.
if I'm only in this for money, oh, that's a good thing because they come back all the time.
Yeah.
But in my job, I don't want them to come back. I
Yeah.
want to see that they are healed and they can heal themselves and they can go on.
Yes, I
Now,
know you have a lot of people coming to you. It's not so easy to get an appointment. Um,
no,
and
but
when if people want to reach you and get support in the health, but especially also in the emotional stuff, how can they
yeah,
contact you? The best is the website.
okay. On our website, there's contact numbers. They contact
Yes.
us and they
So
can
website
talk
is sound waves
at Cape Town.
at
Cape Town.
Cape
Soundwaves
Town.
dot Cape Town. And that is it. You will
Okay.
get through to it.
Yeah,
It's very,
super.
very straightforward.
We will also write it here with the video.
Yes, I just want to, if I
Mhm.
got 1 minute, I just want to say we do scanning of emotions as well over the air,
Yeah.
remotely.
Yes.
So if we have a photograph and DNA, so that means a fingernail or hair or blood,
Yes.
we can scan somebody. Like for instance, when you were in Switzerland or Germany, I could scan you from here, and we do have the same results. So all over the world, people are welcome to contact us,
Not only
and
you do the scan, you also
treatment
can
and
work
the yes,
remotely, so just from a
exactly.
distance. So,
That's right.
listener, when you are interested and really, yeah, be more free of emotions, have a better influence, or you have a whatever body issue,
Yeah,
I really
yeah,
recommend. It can only improve. I
yeah.
personally, when I'm in South Africa, I love to go and visit you in person.
That's right.
Also get
You-
sessions
Yeah,
remote.
yeah. Welcome, nowadays, when I start treatment with somebody and they do not do their inner healing, then
Yeah.
I say to them, listen, you've got to do that, or
Yes.
else I cannot do my job.
Yes. If you're not,
it is,
if you're not really want to have the change,
no,
it will not work. Yes.
No, and you can go to the best doctors in the world. If
Yes.
if you don't want to change,
you need to be willing and interested.
Yes. Yeah, the only difference
I
here
would
is
love
I
to
can
talk
tell you.
more with you, Charl.
Yes.
But our time is already over again. Thank you very much. And listener, just give yourself a chance. You can only improve. And if you feel fit, I guess you still can improve.
Thank you very much to you.
Thank you for listening. Thank you, Charles, for giving more of your wisdom here for the world. And everybody, please be inspired.